Five, seven. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Rick.
Here.
Ray.
Here.
James here. Keith.
Here. Okay, public comment on agenda items. Any conflict of interest on the board? Approval of agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Sorry. All in favor? Aye. Agenda approved. Okay, public hearing. Church brewery.
I make a motion, this motion is to open the public hearing regarding the special use permit application for Brad and Sarah Knoll, the church brewery for a fenced property. Number 009-236-011-10, located at 5133 I Road, Bark River, Michigan, 49807.
I'll second that. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
We have to do a roll call.
Okay, we'll-
Rick or Ray?
Here. Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
James, yes. Keith?
Yes.
Okay, now you're ready.
Okay, any public comment? Vince? Anybody?
Then I make a motion to close the public hearing regarding the special use permit application for Brad and Sarah Knoll, the church brewery for a fenced property 009-236-011-10, located at 5133 I Road, Bark River, Michigan, 49807. Well, hang on, before we close it, do we have any limitations or anything?
I did a site inspection,
Not even from the public.
oh. John Guffey called, said that they started, the brewery started construction of the fence today. Got that phone call, 2 hours ago.
That was it. Now I make a motion to close the public hearing regarding the special use permit application for Brad and Sarah Knoll, the church brewery for a fenced property number 009-236-011-10, located at 5133 I Road, Bark River, Michigan, 49807.
Roll call?
Ray?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
James, yes. Keith?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it was closed.
Okay, board comments on this.
No, we got the old zoning ordinance.
About the first. So food was, we should go and sit down.
Not that, or yes or no, get there, the answer's no. I mean, are we to the point now where we want to do this at so far, and we don't have any discussion visibility?
I'd like to make some comments about the quick please. Remember, I took the liberty of getting a copy of the survey for the lot split. And some of the footage don't add up to the drawing that was handed in and give the first last month. And I just wondered if the survey correct or the drawing is correct.
Like, did you go check it out?
Sorry.
Starting on the south side, there's a measurement of 100 feet to the south property line. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Where you have a copy of that? Do you think, can we get some copy of that in the meeting that we should look at? That I don't want to deal with it.
That. You handed that out. I think you had a copy of that right last night.
It was, they pulled it out of a file.
Right. I got a copy.
Okay, so. What you're stating, Bree. What are you disputing, I guess,
I guess what I'm, you did it, all right. This is one, starting at 111 feet. You follow this up here. And there's 28 feet here. And 70 feet between this point and this point. And I think what they want, the print shows is like 86 feet. So that would put that this chunk here on the other person's property. And also the church shows a distance of, by scale, of 15 feet. And the hand drawn measurement shows 22 feet. So that would put that up here in front of the property.
so if the survey's been done, which I assume it has. The line should be in the state, should be state, right?
Right.
And they should be following that state line. So they have measurements that are that can fit with that state line. Then, yeah, there's an issue, but if they're all on that state line, it's really. It's fine.
Right, that's a safety thing.
So that's what they're following, correct?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're following.
There's any following this property. I mean, I would, trust that with with the survey having been done. Like you see,
So this puts, this over here. And then. Show this.
yeah, which one was squared out, when the actual got out, and it's not squared out. So, I'm assuming that they've had a survey by,
And Peter's been at and put pretty more.
so it's been, so, yeah. So that is, they would have the safes in the, I did you not see that? You see that, they have.
Well, they didn't have any seats, but I think I walked off for the 7. I wrote, okay.
So I mean, I'm assuming that. These dimensions, I don't know why they're driving these dimensions, but I'm assuming, I think you want to make sure that. They are following this.
Yes, so I think you need to verify that. We're going to do this.
Like you can approve it and just. put it
Yeah,
in
yeah,
instructions
yes.
at the bottom.
Yes, yes, I would suggest, correct, yes, and there, I see no reason why to the item over. As long as they follow the survey, they should be fine. This, for whatever reason, doesn't jive, right, and I think that we just have to make sure, it's not, this is not stand on. But the dimensions you stand on, right, it's sort of possible, they don't, but. My theory is that if they follow this, there's nothing else that they're gonna. Defense and other than make sure that it's not a problem. So I don't see an issue with it.
I don't think there's some weird parcel later, what we were sent to person. So I don't know what their plans are in the future with that. So I never septic system for well. In the church, we do it. And the reason that we developed a burning building. Split.
It's, I'm not having that, this isn't all that similar fence. So, yeah, I would suggest that we go through the 604, we remove it with the, didn't see that it meets the property lines that are surveyed, that we move forward with that.
So it's a question.
Whatever you got comment on that?
I guess I just want to reiterate, I think we should be following our zoning ordinance for taking about the paper. Fire. Don't take this point.
So, now on, who's paperwork all the time?
All those requirements of trying to approve the kind of agree. If we have done some of that in the past, we're very.
So is there something in there that's,
Well, the same long as this problem with. Let it run into this problem.
well, future reference would be?
Future reference, I think we should go away. 502. 606,
What's 502 state?
502, 503.
Also, site plan, including requirements. Right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean. I think that's kind of what we have in our hands already, it just doesn't quite follow the property line, which we will make it very clear that they need to follow that property.
Right, but there's also shared measurement for the existing structures and so on. Also, I think that the driveway for this parcel that was changed is possibly in parcel B, part of it. So I don't know how that falls in, could that be an issue on the road for us or not? Before we won't go on with.
As far as the driveway being located, where it's located, or
Right.
and then, and it's conflicting with the neighbor, is that what it is, or what?
Well, that's what I don't know. I don't know where that's saying, it's not showing, but.
No, he doesn't want to use that driveway, he doesn't want to use that as a driveway. That's why he sold it to us. There's other plans.
And so, I guess, in lieu of. The fence, let's proceed with the citizen, this report.
So do we need a motion to approve and then do the 604? Or do we just do the 604 from three, we do the motion? So what was your motion?
Proceed with 604 general standards.
According to section 604 general standards comments, will A, be harmonious with and in accordance with the general objectives of any specific objectives of comprehensive development plan. I need a motion. Second. I'll second. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Janine is yes, Keith.
Yes.
B, will be designed, construction, operated and maintained as to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity. And that such use will not change the essential character of the same area. Motion made by, second. I will. Janine. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Janine is yes, Keith.
Yes.
C, will not be hazardous or disturbing to existing or future neighboring uses. Motion made by. Seconded by Janine. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Janine is yes, Keith.
Yes.
D, will not diminish the value of the land, buildings, or structures in the district and shall represent an improvement in the property under consideration and the community as a whole. Motion made by. Seconded by Janine. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
No.
Jane is yes, Keith.
Yes.
E, will be served adequately by essential public facilities and services such as highways, streets, police, and fire protection, drainage structures. Refuse disposal for schools, that the persons or agencies responsible for the establishment of the proposed use shall be able to provide adequately these such services. Motion made by. Seconded by Jane. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
No.
Jane, yes, Keith.
Yes.
F, will not create excessive additional requirements at a public cost for public facilities and services and will not be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. Motion made by
Make a motion to accept.
Jamie, seconded, roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Jamie's yes, Keith,
Yes.
will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials, and equipment that conditions of operation will not be detrimental to any person, property, and general welfare by reason of excessive production of noise, traffic, smoke, fumes, glare, or odors. Motion made by, seconded by Jane. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
No.
Jane is yes, Keith.
Yes.
H, for the location, nature, and height of the proposed use be appropriate to the size, type, and height of buildings, uses, and structures in the vicinity and adjacent properties, including the safety and convenience of people therefrom. Motion made by,
Make a motion to accept.
seconded by Jane. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Jane is yes, Keith.
Yes.
I will be consistent with the intent and purpose of this ordinance and shall be compatible with the natural environment and shall protect the public health, safety, and general welfare. Motion made by,
Make a motion to accept.
seconded by Jane. Roll call, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
No.
Jane, yes, Keith.
Yes.
So now we need motion to issue a special permit.
So we, yes, we need to, go forward with the use of the contingency that it is following the property behind as shown on the survey.
What's your motion?
Motion to pass the special use permit or?
Okay. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, she's correct.
The conditions, okay. Rick is first. Second? I'll second.
Well,
No? No. Roll call? Right, Rick,
yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Jane is yes, Keith,
Yes.
okay. That's it?
Yep.
It's passed.
Pass.
So now Gary can permit proposed restrictions.
All right, let's move on to the public hearing for zoning ordinance amendment.
This motion is open to the public hearing regarding the proposed zoning ordinance amendment to the Fort River Township. The amendment is to propose enforcement of the zoning ordinance by municipal civil infraction. The purpose of this hearing is to accept public comments on the proposed zoning ordinance amendment. I need a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call. Ray,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jane is yes, Keith.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any public comment on the zoning ordinance amendment?
Any emails or communications for the zoning ordinance? Okay. Okay. Okay, so go ahead and close. Yeah. Want me to make a motion to close?
Close it.
Okay. The motion is to close the public hearing regarding a proposed zoning ordinance amendment for Fort River Township. The amendment is to propose enforcement of the zoning ordinance by municipal civil infraction. The purpose of this hearing was to accept public comment and the proposed zoning ordinance amendment. Jane made the motion, second.
I'll second.
Roll call, Ray,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
James, yes, Keith.
Yes.
It's closed.
Does the board have any comment on zoning ordinance amendment? I think it's a good move. You did right.
So now I want to make a motion to recommend the proposed zoning ordinance amendment for adoption by the township board, which means it now go to the township, we're voting on to send it to the township board.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Rick,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
James, yes, Keith,
Yes.
do we don't need a 604 on that, do we? No.
And just so you know, it goes to the county planning commission first, and then it'll go to the board, so it'll be a lawyer box.
Okay, well, this takes care of both folks instead, okay.
Okay, moving on. Approval.
Do we need to redo that to include the planning commission, or does a motion need to be made for the planning commission and the Delta County Planning Commission and the township? Okay,
No, that's just
how
how
I
it is.
said,
Yeah,
okay.
you don't do that.
Okay,
Alright, approval of minutes. From last month. Make a motion to approve the minutes for June. I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
fine,
Minutes are approved. Reports, building administrator report.
4 permits, fence in R1. In R2, kind of a redoing an existing log cabin, new joists on the floor. New garage in RR, 2.5 road, meets all the setbacks, and another fence in RR. Complaint. Apparently Melissa Jenchak got chickens, I don't know her, never met her, don't know who she is, just kind of interesting. I guess a neighbor complaint, I just found out about that a few hours ago. Did a follow-up on the Lesnowski complaint. We talked about that last time, so the neighbor complained that he built a deck too close to the property line, or the neighbor had said he built a deck right up to the property line, and just so happens I went out there to write him a fence permit, irrespective of this issue, totally different side of the property. So what he had done is he put a cement slab, it's about 4 feet off the property line, off the side property lot line. Just got like a grill and a couple chairs out there, and I looked in the ordinance, and I didn't see anything about a cement slab specifically. I mean, it says, garage or accessory building is 5 feet, it's not a garage or accessory building, and the house can be, has to be 10 feet, so. I mean, it's a cement slab, so
No, there's nothing.
there's nothing, I didn't see anything in the ordinance. That's that. I had someone contact me about 8048 M35. Possible buyer for the parcel, the property. So he was saying the existing buildings or buildings, there might be a building or two that do not meet current setback requirements. And his question was if he bought it, would that affect his ability to build a garage on it? So I just talked to him today too. So I don't know for sure the answer on that. I mean, I got to see why not. So I guess the previous owner built something that violated setbacks. So that's what he said.
Well, when were they built?
I don't know. I told him I'd have to look into it tomorrow. I just talked to him today. Just 3-4 hours ago. I mean, I don't think that would affect anything, would it? I mean, I don't know.
The fire was never built before the ordinance.
Yeah,
There's nothing, there's basically grandfathered, so, and then for as far as the new garage goes, depending on what kind of space he has left to do, I mean, if he needs setback for a new building, he should.
Yeah.
Be able to go forward.
and then and then his other question was, can you build up possibly the principal structure? And I don't see why not, I guess it's not his fault if the previous property owner. Whatever built a garage that violated the setback, so I don't know exactly how to handle that situation. But. I don't see why you couldn't build a garage, but again, I would have to look, I haven't encountered this situation before.
I would guess I'd go look at it.
Yeah,
The survey, get the square footage or whatever, how big it is, and where everything is, say start there.
Well, I'm assuming he has a survey, and that's how they found out they're close to the, they're too close to the line, right, the existing structure, but when they were built is a big question.
right,
So, if they were built, you know, at a point in time in this.
I think 2008 was the last one, was the old one.
But that might
That's
have
pretty,
changed.
yeah, that's pretty.
Right, but it could have, but they not changed that 2008. I mean, just because that's in the ordinance, and that particular thing could have been a 1984 incident, you know what I'm saying?
That's kind of an interesting one, but I mean,
I say we start looking at the plans of the site. What do you think?
What were the buildings and setbacks now, the existing buildings, what are the existing buildings?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so
I
that
was texting the gentleman today.
Okay, I mean, you need to investigate that.
Yeah.
I had an inquiry about a short-term rental in R1, I just said they're not, simply just said it's not permitted. Then the final communication, Patty Dietrich. Had emailed me and said, she's in support of the tap room fence. And I'll wrap it up.
Brett? The definition 137 structure. Kind of answers your question regarding patios.
Okay.
Not limited to all buildings, freestanding signs and satellite dishes, and not including sidewalks, ice, patios, and utility poles. So I think that would probably cover that patio you're talking about. Page 227.
Yep, I'm reading it. But I mean, that's just the definition, right? You're saying the definition of a cement slab?
Well, it gives you an idea what's allowed.
Right.
It meets the definition of structure and therefore is an accessory structure.
We're talking about the cement slab,
So regularly does that.
but I mean, it's a violation then, you're saying. If it's within 5, if it's shorter than 5 feet. Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking the opposite. Who's right, Brian? I would think we would need a permit.
What are we talking about?
I think he's talking about the cement slab.
We're talking about that side of the patio he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
It does, structure do not include. Not including sidewalks, drives, patios, and utility poles.
So the setback requirement, it isn't for a patio, in other words.
Right.
Right, so he can make his patio meet up to his property line.
Oh, I was reading 127, it's 137, isn't it?
137. Not considered a structure.
And not including sidewalks, patios, right? Oh,
Yeah, so it, right, that it can not including sidewalks, drives, patios. So if it's, as long as it's like, if patio is a cement slab, then it doesn't meet the definition of structure and doesn't require.
Correct.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, moving on to permits, if you look at the permits. Down to the very unfinished business.
Yeah, none.
All right.
I have a question regarding unfinished business that we kind of dropped. Short-term rentals. Those that were up for renewal. Are those not up for renewal now or then permanent or what, where are we standing on that?
I believe we got a email from, or a response from the lawyer that said we couldn't do that.
We can't renew or we can't,
You can't renew a special use permit, so we'll have to I think we talked about the ordinance going forward, if you want to do the license or the, you know, once we get into the ordinance, but as it stands now, I believe, according to what the attorney said, that we can't,
Okay,
and that's why it was taken off.
okay, thank you.
No,
Should those people be notified then, do you think, or
no,
no?
I don't think so.
All right, Ryan?
So I included, should be in your package tonight, just a little memo about the result of going through the ordinance and auditing all the sections. Included on that memo is a link to a spreadsheet, which, you could type, I made it shorter so you could type it in, but I'll be bringing that up every so often when we're here. It actually has every item that I picked out, in cells and why and what the proposed change is, and that's how I'll keep track of everything that we go throughout the project. Of course, everything that's on that spreadsheet is just like things that jumped out as, you know, I went through, and they aren't necessarily all things that need to be changed. So it's up to the planning commission, ultimately the board, to approve all the changes that you make. Just some high level, the major items, that I found. The ordinance using the wording for both conditional use permits and special use permits. Those are essentially the same thing in the ordinance, so we'll go through and make it all special use permit because that's how it's used mostly throughout the ordinance. That just provides clarity for everybody going forward. There are 3 definitions, or there are more than 3, but the 3 big ones are attached garage, single family dwelling, and home occupation. And they contain regulations actually within the definition that makes it difficult to find the regulation correct, but one is in the definition, and 2, the regulation should be with other regulations and not with the definition of the term. So just for, again, for clarity and readability, move those to an appropriate place in the district with other like regulations. There are conflicting regulations and uses of terms related to private garages, single family dwellings, etc. in those regulations that allow or do not allow their specific use or approval. So there's some conflicting wording between, for garages, for example, that they are or are not allowed as individual buildings on properties, with or without a principal structure. There's some conflicting wording in there. And there are at least 2 sections like those definitions, section 421 and 607, that have to deal with conditional uses and uses that apply generally, and they should be swapped. 607 is in the conditional use permit standard, special use permit standards, and it should be a general regulation, and then 421 is in general regulations, and it should be a special use permit standard. And then there are a couple of conflicts in Article 6 and Article 8 that they're just older powers of the planning commission that aren't necessarily current with the Zoning Enabling Act. Again, it's wording and just processes for things that just need to be updated, modernized. And again, so far we've talked about other things like tiny homes, and the provisions for dwellings and recreational structures, and the definition and approval process for short-term rentals. So that's included in that spreadsheet as well. Just to give you an idea of the breadth of everything that I went over when I looked through your ordinance, and provide some sort of path for us to do the project going forward. So generally, we pick an article, and whatever article is up to you, or if you want to do parts of an article, and I'll prepare an updated version, or amended version of that article, and we can go through and just make sure you're in approval of all those changes, make any other changes that we need. And then we set that aside, I put all the changes in that spreadsheet, and then we keep track of them as we go through the whole project, and then update everything all at once, and then amend it at the end. So, any questions about all that?
Sure, there will be once we delve into it.
Right. Do you have any preference for where to start?
we did have, Sarah was keeping a track of different items, and I reached out to her and asked her to send it, but I haven't gotten anything, but you did have to ready to get those down, did you?
I might have some, but.
If you want
Start
to,
with definitions.
yeah, I will, reach out to her again and see, I couldn't, she just got busy or whatever, I'll reach out and see, because I know she's keeping an ongoing list of things, so, yeah, so exactly what you're saying, we have questions about things we were gonna do, and.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can send this link that's in that memo to, out to your emails, so you can just click on that, and go to spreadsheet too. It's a live document, so when I update it, it gets updated.
Okay,
So that you're able to see, you know, what we approved, what we worked on, what we crossed out, all that stuff. That's
okay. If I get that list, then I'll send it off to you too.
All right, you want new business? Special use permit applications.
No, on this one.
Okay. Communications. I will do that that way.
Mhm.
All right, public comment on non-agenda items. You want to, public want me to comment on anything?
I would.
No. State your name and where you live.
Nick Kirkpatrick,
Any agreements?
5390 Portage Point Road. I was wondering about down at the end of Portage Point, with being summertime now, there's a lot of traffic down there, a lot of animals, and if we could maybe put a dog bag station and a garbage can down there, because there's tons of there after the weekend passes. And then, also, I don't know what the ordinance is for how people keep their yard. There's a yard here on Portage Point Road. Small yard, got 2 campers, 2 boats, 5 cars, piles of tires everywhere. It's a pretty big eyesore down there. And then I was gonna talk to you about I don't know if I can talk to you guys about the speed limit or anything like that. I did speak to a sheriff, he was gonna send out an email to get a digital speedometer sign down there. There's, on the weekends, I mean, they got cars going 40, 45 miles an hour down there, and I mean, we got grandkids playing out in the yard and dogs running around, you know, I mean, it's a little crazy down there right now, so I just gonna send an email, have a sheriff, he was gonna see if the sheriff would, you know, better monitor it, but I haven't seen any of that happen, so. And I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? You want to? Close public comment? No.
No, nobody got you.
All right, board counts on anything.
We don't usually get comment back during comments.
Oh.
So that's how we're all sitting there. We don't have to do much.
We just listen.
I will say though that it is the police that set the speed limit. And if you did like it going, because it happened on our road quite a few years ago too, that they had the state police, you know, put one of those lines down.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, okay.
So that would go through there. The dog station, are you talking about at the end there where they have that walk? That's the.
Yeah, it
Isn't
goes to the-
that like the DNR or something? That would be-
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you, is it?
I think that's-
Their jurisdiction.
Yeah, I was, I think it's the DNR.
Yeah.
It's the yeah.
Yeah, this big pile, right all the way down to the beach.
Yeah, yeah, and as far as the, in the yard, you can file a complaint, and the junk board has been it's a blight, I believe, it's under
Blight, yeah.
the blight.
Yeah, blight.
We filed that, and the supervisor takes care of those, and once he gets that, he'll all look in.
Okay, where do I find that?
You go online, actually, I believe you go online, Fort River Township has their own website.
Oh, okay,
And I believe it's on there, if not, you can always call the supervisor, and his number I know is on it,
okay,
so.
all right.
That would be your, that would be mine. I just want to wish everyone a happy Fourth. All right, so we'll count on that.
Anything else? I'm good. I'll look at more soon that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Yeah, meeting's adjourned.